What if science could actually tell us that death isn't really the end, that it's something else entirely? It's a question humanity's grappled with forever, hasn't it?
Yeah.
But today, we're doing a deep dive into some, well, pretty mind-bending scientific theories suggesting consciousness might just be indestructible. We've gathered insights from some truly groundbreaking scientists looking at their, let's say, radical theories about consciousness, reality, the whole shebang. We're going to explore ideas that might really challenge how you see things.
Yeah, it's fascinating how different fields seem to be converging here. You've got quantum mechanics, the super weird physics of the tiny scale, and then astrophysics looking at the cosmos. And they're starting to paint this really new picture of life and death. We'll specifically get into Dr. Robert Lanza's bioentrism, this idea of multiple universes.
Yeah, the multiverse.
Exactly, and also some cutting-edge quantum theories about consciousness itself. These aren't just philosophical musings, they're attempts at a scientific framework for what might happen after we die.
Okay, so let's start with Dr. Robert Lanza. He's a really interesting figure. The New York Times actually called him one of the most important living scientists. He first made waves in regenerative medicine, stem cells, even cloning endangered animals. Quite the resume.
Absolutely. But then his curiosity just took him deeper, didn't it? Into physics, quantum mechanics, astrophysics.
And that's where this theory, bioentrism, comes from.
Right. It's born from that mix of biology and physics.
Yeah.
And the core idea is, well, it flips everything on its head.
How so?
Bioentrism basically says that life and consciousness aren't just byproducts of the universe. They're fundamental to it.
Go.
It suggests consciousness actually creates the material universe we perceive, not the other way around.
Wow. Okay, that is a reversal. How does he argue that?
Well, one of the main pillars is this idea of the universe being fine-tuned for life.
Ah, right. The constants, the physical laws, they all seem perfectly set up.
Exactly. Lanza argues this precision implies some kind of intelligence or framework before matter even existed. It suggests an underlying order, not just random chance.
And he connects us to space and time too, doesn't he? Saying they aren't. What fixed realities?
Yeah, precisely. He sees them not as external objective things, but more like tools of our animal understanding. His analogy is like a turtle shell.
A turtle shell.
Yeah, space and time are the shell we operate within, the structure we perceive. But when that shell, our physical body, comes off,
Consciousness keeps going.
that's the idea. Lanza argues consciousness persists outside of that physical construct.
So the implication is, death of consciousness isn't real.
It simply doesn't exist, according to the theory. We only think it ends because we identify so strongly with our bodies. Think about it. If the body made consciousness, then yeah, game over when the body stops.
But he's saying it doesn't.
He suggests the body is more like a receiver, like your cable box picking up satellite signals.
Okay, so the box can break, but the signal.
The signal itself is still out there. Consciousness isn't dependent on that specific receiver. It's just not being channeled through it anymore.
All right, so if consciousness isn't made by the brain and it's not bound by the body, what is it? Where is it?
Lanza argues it exists outside of time and space constraints. It's non-local.
Non-local.
Yeah.
Like quantum entanglement, where particles are connected no matter the distance.
Exactly that kind of idea, not confined to one point. And Lanza believes this non-locality is, well, fundamental proof for phenomena we usually dismiss.
Like what?
Like astral projection or out-of-body experiences. He suggests these aren't just tricks of the brain.
But actual journeys of consciousness, moving outside the physical body.
That's his interpretation. Yes, real travel enabled by that non-local nature.
Okay. Wow. That naturally leads to this multiverse idea then, doesn't it? If
Right.
consciousness isn't tied here.
Right, that's the connection Lanza makes. He theorizes that countless universes exist simultaneously.
So when a body dies in this universe,
The consciousness doesn't just vanish. It could potentially migrate or be absorbed into another universe where that same body is still alive and functioning.
so it's not heaven or hell, but another version of here.
Kind of. A similar world where you continue existing. He suggests this could happen theoretically, infinitely. It's a tunnel to another reality, not an afterlife in the traditional sense.
It sounds incredibly speculative, I have to say.
Oh, it definitely is. Highly controversial.
But it's not totally without support in physics, right?
Hmm.
The multiverse concept itself.
That's true. Many physicists and astrophysicists do argue that there's nothing in the known laws of physics that explicitly forbids parallel worlds from existing. The theoretical possibility is there.
It's funny, the idea itself isn't brand new either.
No, not at all. H.G. Wells was writing about it way back in 1895, The Door in the Wall.
Right. But the science side really kicked off later.
Yeah, much later. Dr. Hugh Everett's PhD thesis at Princeton in 1957, that was a big moment.
That was a many worlds interpretation.
That's the one. He proposed that every time a quantum measurement happens, the universe splits.
Splits
That's
into
right, copies.
countless similar instances, yeah. So every choice you make, every quantum event branches off new universes. There's a universe where you turned left instead of right this morning.
Mind-boggling.
And then in the 80s, you had Andre Linde's theory, a different flavor of multiverse.
How did his work?
He talked about inflationary cosmology, space itself containing these expanding bubbles or spheres.
Bubble universes.
Each one inflating and potentially spawning more bubble universes infinitely. They're all part of the same physical cosmos, but they're spread out, generally unaware of each other.
Okay, these are fascinating theories, but, the big question, is there any evidence, any hint that we're not alone in this cosmic sense?
Well, that's where things get really interesting. Data from the Planck Space Telescope, launched back in 2009, has given scientists something to chew on.
Planck, what was its job?
Its mission was super precise measurements of the cosmic microwave background, the CMB. That's the afterglow from the Big Bang, right?
Exactly. It's like a baby picture of the universe. Studying it tells us about the universe's early history, its evolution, its composition. Planck gave us the best map ever.
And what did that map show? Anything unusual?
It did, actually. When scientists analyzed the CMB data, they found anomalies. Things like unusually large cold spots or holes and sort of gaps in the expected radiation patterns. Dark recesses, you could call them.
Huh. Gaps in the baby picture. What could cause that?
Well, one interpretation comes from theoretical physicist Dr. Laura Mersini-Houghton.
Okay.
She argues these anomalies, these cold spots and gaps, might be bruises. Evidence that our universe has bumped into other universes nearby.
Bumped into them. Like cosmic fender benders.
Sort of, or maybe gravitational tugs from neighboring universes influencing our own structure as it formed. She calls them direct results of attacks by neighboring universes.
Wow. So actual observational hints, maybe.
Potentially. It's still debated, of course, but it adds fuel to the multiverse fire. And for Lanza's theory.
It provides an abundance of places for consciousness to go.
Exactly. It fits neatly with his evolving ideas, what he calls neo-bioentrism, suggesting consciousness has potentially infinite destinations if the multiverse is real.
Okay, this is all incredibly thought-provoking, but let's get down to the mechanism. If consciousness can exist outside the body, how? What's the science behind that possibility? Does it connect to the idea of a soul?
Well, this is where we bridge into theories of consciousness itself, often drawing on quantum physics again. Dr. Stuart Hameroff is a key figure here.
Hameroff, okay, what's his take? Especially on things like near-death experiences, NDEs.
Hameroff suggests that during an NDE, the quantum information that constitutes consciousness, which he believes resides within the nervous system, actually leaves the body.
Leaves the body. And goes where?
It sort of dissipates into the wider universe,
Yeah.
but it's not destroyed.
And this quantum information, where does he think it lives normally? In the brain.
Specifically, he and the physicist Sir Roger Penrose developed a theory called orchestrated objective reduction, or ORC, or R.
Or catchy.
Yeah. They propose consciousness operates at the quantum level inside structures within our brain cells called microtubules.
Microtubules, like the cell scaffolding.
Exactly. But they believe these tiny tubes are also sites of quantum processing. They think consciousness arises from quantum computations happening within these microtubules.
Okay, so if consciousness is quantum information in these microtubules, what happens at death?
According to Hameroff and Penrose, when the body dies, the quantum state within the microtubules collapses, but the information itself isn't lost.
It's released.
Released, yeah. It just distributes and dissipates to the universe at large. It doesn't just vanish. And they go even further. They suggest that consciousness, or maybe a precursor, a proto-consciousness, isn't just something our brains cook up.
It's more fundamental.
Yes, potentially a fundamental property of the universe itself. Present since the Big Bang, woven into the fabric of space-time.
So our brains are, what, antennas?
Kind of. Receivers and amplifiers for this universal proto-consciousness. Our souls, in this view, are literally built from the fabric of the universe and might have always existed in some form.
And Lanza would likely jump in here and add,
But this information doesn't just dissipate into our universe.
but maybe into another one.
That's the extra layer, Lanza adds, connecting back to the multiverse. The information could potentially relocate.
So how does this ORCH, or our theory, explain NDEs then?
Well, the idea is if someone is clinically dead, the quantum information leaves the microtubules. If they're then resuscitated,
The information comes back.
it can potentially return to the microtubules, reestablishing the quantum coherence, the memory of being outside the body, the tunnel, the light. That's the NDE account.
And if they aren't revived?
Then theoretically, that quantum information, that consciousness could persist outside the body indefinitely, perhaps as what we might call a soul.
So this quantum view offers a potential scientific explanation for NDEs, maybe out-of-body experiences, maybe even reincarnation, without needing a purely religious framework.
Exactly. It opens the door to thinking about consciousness energy perhaps being recycled or existing on a different plane of reality or, as Lanza suggests, moving between universes. It's a scientific lens on these deep questions.
We've certainly covered a lot of ground, from Lanza's bioentrism making consciousness primary, flipping our view of space and time,
Right, to the arguments for the multiverse, these potential other realities.
and finally landing on quantum mechanics suggesting consciousness itself might be this fundamental, indestructible, non-local thing.
It's a fascinating convergence, isn't it? These theories are definitely out there, controversial for sure, but they represent science trying to grapple with some of the biggest questions we have. They offer at least a potential scientific language for things previously confined to mysticism or faith. It really pushes the boundaries of how we understand existence.
So here's something to think about. If our consciousness really is this fundamental non-local part of the universe, maybe connected across multiple realities, how does that change things? How might that shift your perspective on your life right now, your connections, your actions? If you're part of this potentially infinite web, what does it mean for you? What new responsibilities or maybe freedoms come with that thought?